Today's topic is Oracle Freshness, specifically, how the gap between the price your Oracle reports and what the market is actually doing right now affects your trade execution, your liquidation thresholds, and your P&L. This is infrastructure-level stuff, but it has direct, measurable consequences every time you open or close a position. Let's start with a basic framing. The price you see on a chart is not the price used to execute your trade on a Perp DEX. The execution price comes from an Oracle, a data feed that reports price into the protocol. There is always a gap between when that Oracle last updated and when your transaction is actually processed. That gap is called Oracle staleness. And depending on how wide it is and what the market is doing when it opens, it has a real cost. Why does this matter so much specifically on Perp DEXs? Because on a Perp DEX, the Oracle is not just informational, it is the price. Every critical action references Oracle price data: opening a position, calculating mark price, triggering a liquidation, settling P&L. There's no internal order book matching against other users. The Oracle is the single source of truth for execution. That makes Oracle quality foundational. A slow Oracle isn't just an accuracy problem. It's an execution problem that shows up directly in your results. Let's go through where Oracle staleness actually bites you. First, at entry. If the Oracle price lags behind spot during a fast-moving market, your entry can be materially worse than intended. The spread between Oracle price and actual spot at the moment you transact is friction you absorb. It doesn't show up as a labeled fee, but it's a cost. Second, during an open position. Mark price, the Oracle-derived figure used to calculate your unrealized P&L and your liquidation threshold, updates with the feed. A stale mark price means two things. Your displayed P&L is off, and your liquidation threshold is being calculated from data that no longer reflects where the market actually is. This discrepancy matters most during sharp, fast-moving conditions, which is exactly when you need the most accurate read on your position health. Third, at liquidation. Liquidations trigger when a position's health falls below the protocol's threshold. If the Oracle lags during a fast move, the price at which liquidation actually triggers may diverge meaningfully from what mark price was showing moments before. In severe cases, that gap creates a shortfall. The position was already underwater relative to spot before the Oracle caught up enough to trigger the liquidation. The protocol's risk engine has to absorb that difference. Here's the broader point. The cost of Oracle staleness doesn't appear as a line item anywhere. It shows up as worse than expected entries, unexpected liquidations during volatile conditions, and mark price readings that don't match what spot data is telling you. It's hidden friction embedded in how the execution layer works. Now let's look at this from the protocol side, because Oracle staleness isn't just a trader problem, it's a protocol risk problem, and the two are linked. When the Oracle lags and a significant price move occurs, the asymmetry cuts against the protocol. Traders can open positions referencing outdated prices before the Oracle catches up to spot. Liquidations can be delayed, allowing positions to go further underwater before being cleared. The risk engine is making decisions based on information that no longer reflects market reality. These aren't theoretical edge cases. Stale Oracle events have caused material losses in Perp markets, for traders and protocols, during sharp price movements. The answer is feeds that update frequently enough to stay within acceptable staleness tolerance for the markets and position sizes the protocol actually handles. But there's a real engineering and cost trade-off here. More frequent updates require more infrastructure, and different feed providers operate at very different latency profiles. Let's talk about what changed on LeverUp, because this is a concrete example of how Oracle infrastructure choices flow through to trader outcomes. In May 2026, LeverUp upgraded to Pyth Pro. The result was a significant improvement in feed freshness. Average feed staleness dropped from 1.676 seconds to 0.086 seconds. That's roughly a 19.5 times improvement in how current the price data is at any given moment. What that change enables at the protocol level is tighter execution parameters. When the oracle is fresher, the protocol can make execution and risk decisions with higher confidence that the price it's acting on reflects current market reality. Tighter parameters mean lower risk exposure for the protocol, and lower risk exposure translates directly to lower fees. The fee reduction that followed the Pyth Pro upgrade wasn't a promotional decision. It was a direct mechanical output of reducing oracle staleness risk. As a trader, oracle freshness isn't something most interfaces surface directly, but you can infer it from how mark price behaves relative to spot during fast markets. During volatile conditions, some mark price lag is normal, but it should be brief and it should resolve quickly. If displayed PNL diverges from what spot data suggests for more than a moment, you're seeing oracle latency in action. The faster that divergence closes, the fresher the feed. High leverage positions are the most sensitive to this. At 50x or 100x leverage, a fraction of a percent mark price discrepancy can meaningfully shift your liquidation threshold. Lower leverage positions have more tolerance for transient staleness. The liquidation math is less tight. But if you're running high leverage during a fast move, the freshness of your oracle has a direct bearing on whether your position behaves as expected. Entry timing also matters more during fast moves. The spread between oracle price and spot is widest when price is moving quickly. In calmer, consolidating markets, the gap compresses and the cost of staleness approaches zero. That's when the distinction between a 0.086 second feed and a 1.6 second feed matters least. It matters most precisely when the market is most volatile, which is also when the stakes of a bad entry or an unexpected liquidation are highest. Oracle freshness doesn't eliminate the risk of adverse execution. No feed is infinitely fast, and there will always be some latency between real-world price and the data a protocol acts on. But shrinking the staleness window reduces the range of outcomes where stale data creates asymmetric risk. That's the structural improvement Pyth Pro delivered, and it's worth understanding if you're trading on LeverUp or evaluating where to trade. Bottom line, the oracle is the price on a Perp DEX. Feed quality isn't background infrastructure, it's a direct determinant of execution quality. Fresher data means tighter execution, lower protocol risk, and better outcomes for traders. Links to the fee change detail and the oracle upgrade write-up are in the show notes.